2D Mario games are always quite similar. You run to the right while dodging enemies and collecting coins. A few YouTubers have tried beating these games without going to the left, but I was thinking of something a little bit different. As you've seen from the intro, and the title probably most likely, we are going to be trying to beat New Super Mario Bros. Without pressing the right button. Now, with half of our moveset out of the game, how would we even be able to progress? You have to press the right button to get to the first level. Well, as Steve Gaming would say, we have two types of right inputs, meta right presses and gameplay right presses. Meta right presses are animation type presses where going into pipes and moving on the world map would fall under. Basically, when pressing right once makes you go right a whole lot more than it usually would. A gameplay right press is anything that makes Mario move to the right during a level. The right press will end anytime Mario reaches a new loading zone, so if we go into an area like in World 2-3, there will definitely be a problem. So with our first meta right press done, we can enter level 1. Okay, this might have been a bad idea. The first thing we see is this wall to our left, and if we go over to it, we can see that it's impossible to jump off of, which means that, unfortunately, we have to wait until the timer runs out so we can go back to the world map, of course. Hear that? That was the sound of this purple block flying around. This is our ticket to beating this level after dying enough times. Once the purple block flies over to level 1, we are able to wall jump off of it and get forward momentum. Once we make it to this block that contains a mushroom, we hit it and grab the mushroom. This mushroom will definitely help us out later, trust me. After we get some more momentum off this block, we can ground pound on this slope to get really far and get this coin. After that, we can jump over to this area where we can ground pound and get this coin, which we'll definitely need later. Once we make it to the stairs, we can wall jump off this block and barely make the jump. And with that, level 1 is possible. Level 2 is a bit different. You start by ground pounding and then you're kind of stuck. But if you have the mushroom from last level, this is no problem at all. You can easily wall jump and hit this purple block now. And when you do that, you get awarded with a blue shell. With this shell, you can run to the left and become a shell. This is really useful since we can run to the right without even pressing right. The star coins in this level are pretty easy to collect also. And near the end, we can climb up to the ceiling and discover a secret exit with the final star coin, making the second level possible. Also, the reason I have 99 lives is because I played level 2 a lot. Definitely. If you take the secret route, you're able to skip the third level and go to this mushroom house where you can get yet another blue shell that we'll definitely use later. After that, we can go to our first castle stage. This level's actually pretty easy. Make sure you can get on the correct side of these sliding platforms and be careful not to get squished. Once you're able to make it to this pipe, you can have a choice to either go to the secret route or finish World 1. But the cannon makes you use a right press, so that's definitely a no-go. After stomping Bowser Jr., we can move on to the next level. Okay, maybe not. Now we have to use the cannon since the purple block will not spawn on the first screen of the level after the castle. So this means that it is not possible to beat New Super Mario Bros. Without pressing right. But let's see just how many times we have to press right. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you like these kinds of videos, because we sometimes do gameplays and we sometimes break games to their absolute limit. Just like how we saw if we can beat Kirby Mass Attack with only one Kirby, which you should totally watch after this video, by the way. Anyways, this cannon takes us to World 5, which is literally the halfway point of the game, so I'd say that this right press was a pretty good decision. And considering that the castle is impossible and most of World 2 is impossible, I think it's safe to say that this decision was the best one that I could have possibly made. Anyways, in World 5, the first level unfortunately makes us use a right press, but if you run with a shell, you can make it all the way to the flagpole without pressing the button again. So that makes our second right press. The second level of this world does this to us, so there isn't any possible way to not press right. But remember those 5 coins that we collected in World 1? Yeah, we're gonna use them right now. We can use the coins to open up this path to go to this level, and since we don't have a purple block here, we have to wait until the timer runs out again. Once we wall jump off this block, we need to make it to the edge of this stretching platform. Once this platform stretches, we can jump off this block and carry all that momentum that we received to get to the halfway point of the level, where we can get some more blocks that we can jump off of. After we jump off of this block, we'll need to jump around very carefully to make sure we don't jump too high or too low. If you're careful enough, this level will be possible. The castle level for this world isn't too difficult. All you really have to do is dodge these spike balls and try not to hit your head on the ceiling at the end. I learned the hard way, of course, but Bowser Jr. isn't too difficult. Also, the floor is quite slippery, just like our next level. After dying a bunch, we can jump off this block and slide down these slopes. Once we make it to the area with these snail things, we can move them out of the way by force, and then slide over to the next area. And while we do this a few times, I'm going to look up what these things are actually called. Okay, and this thing is actually called a snailicorn? So I was right in thinking that this thing was a snail. Anyways, once we jump over this snailicorn, we have a free ticket to the end of the level. This next level is a ghost house. This means that there will always be a wall to the left of us at the start of the level, since it's a house, of course. But in this ghost house, there lies a secret exit. To find this, you must jump up all these stairs while dodging the bruisers. And once you make it over here, you can jump to reveal this exit. Be careful though, since this bruiser is waiting for you at the top. Once you make it through the door, you're kind of forced to press right to get to the flagpole, and in this cannon level, you also have to press right. But it takes us to World 8, so we can skip the entirety of World 6. In the first level of World 8, you'll need to wall jump off this block once again, but this time there are some bullet bills that you'll need to dodge. The end of this level is extremely difficult because of these stairs, but once you make it over while dodging the bullet bills, you can easily get to the flagpole as long as you're able to bounce in the bonsai bill. Wall jumping in level 2 is barely possible, and then we need to press right to press this button that makes the water rise. After that, we need to press a button to rise more water. When we do this, we'll have a limited amount of time to jump from this wall all the way to this pipe. So when we wall jump off this, we can jump on the very edge of every single barrel to get across to this room and make it through the pipe. After that, we're forced to press right to get to the next zone, and this area is possible by using momentum from this wall and using it underwater. And this area is exactly the same. After we go through this pipe, we can take a moment to think about our next move, which is going to the right. After that, we can move on to the castle of this world. This castle contains a lot of moving blocks, and if you wall jump onto them at the perfect time, this level will be possible. It was pretty difficult to jump on some of these though, and Bowser Jr. did this weird thing where he goes into his shell anytime you were standing over him or like close to him, so you have to throw shells at him to deal damage now. But the next level is a water level, so let's just count out how many times I had to press right, okay? 1 to get into this pipe, 2 to go up this wall, 3 to just move to the right, and 4 to run away from this giant unagi. And then the flagpole is free to get as long as you went through this green pipe, since you could wall jump off the top of it. The next level has spiders. So many spiders. These guys will spawn above you infinitely, and there's nothing you can do about it. Thankfully, you can wall jump off of a lot of these blocks in this level to reach the end, but it feels so RNG sometimes because these spiders fall right where I need to be. The final castle of this world makes us go right immediately when we start the level. Now you might say, just die some more so the flying block will spawn, and my answer to that is unfortunately a no. For some reason, the flying blocks just don't ever go into castle levels unless it's these gray castles. So we're going to have to beat this level without letting go of right. And to be honest, this isn't actually as hard as it sounds. By timing your jumps well in the first half and wall jumping off this wall into a slide from the wall in the second half, you can easily run to the end of the level, since most of the platforms won't do anything since you're pretty fast. But unfortunately, in the dry Bowser battle, we were forced to run under him, which makes us use another right press. And now for the plot twist of the century. Oh no, we still have half of the world to finish. Anyways, the first level we play in World 8 Part 2 isn't too difficult. We just have to wall jump off of things as normal and make sure to land on these platforms without getting hit by any Koopas. After that, you're free to grab the flagpole after entering this pipe. This next level is actually pretty easy. You can run to the left and reach the right side of the map from pretty much anywhere, and you just need to do this one precise wall jump to reach these spikies that you can easily dodge to get to the end. We also get some slopes to get to the flag. This next level gives us an issue with our flying block. Since it's too high up, we're forced to press right in order to play this level. This level has one really difficult section, but it is possible by only holding right. Now, after you reach this pipe, you can enter it by holding both down and right. But when you land, your animation ends, but you still run to the right. So does this count as pressing right? Maybe, but I'm not going to count it since I didn't enter a loading zone. This next level is absolutely terrible. I haven't played a Mario level this insane before. You'll need to get insane RNG and jump at perfect times to complete this level. And man, look at this insane run. I dodged so many meteors to beat this level, and it looks really cool. The second castle of this world is all about snake blocks. Sounds hard, right? Well, it definitely was. You start the level by grabbing this mushroom and wall jumping to the right side of the stage. After that, you'll need to follow the snake block to our next area, which has a lot of spikes. We can wait for the snake block to move over to the next area, and since we have the mushroom, we can damage boost on top of the snake block to make it to the next area. This next area makes us jump over some fire bars and precisely land on the snake block. After that, we have to dodge this spike ball and then make it to the end of the level. And since we can't wall jump off of spikes, we're forced to press right to get to the door. Bowser Jr. is easy to defeat as always, and with that, we can now enter the final level of the game, which forces us to press right the moment we step in. The second room is a box that spins around when you hit a switch. This happens a few times in this level, and it changes the entire stage. There are plenty of walls and blocks to jump off of in this stage, making it pretty nice to navigate through. And the thwomps that are blocking your way aren't too difficult to pass through either. This room up here is pretty difficult to reach, but it is possible. And when we make it through, we see some thwomps. I kind of wanted to make it easier for me, so I just whipped out my blue shell that we had since World 1 and made it through the room. After that, I was able to wall jump off this wall and make it to the final room. In this final room, we're forced to press right, so I just went along with it and used my shell. You have to go through specific sections of this room to reach the end, but I didn't even know which ones to go through. Fortunately enough, I kinda got lucky and was able to reach the door to the final boss fight. Bowser Jr. puts Bowser into the soda, and he grows all of his skin back. After that, he's ready to fight, and I just kind of ran under him using our 18th and final right press of the game. So out of the 23 levels we played today, we only needed to press the right button 18 times. Thanks for watching, and if we get enough likes, we'll try this in New Super Mario Bros. 2. Anyways, that's all I've got.